navigation. We discussed about the pages. We discussed about the environment. How do we set up? So up to installing whatever we need basically and creating a new project. So you must be familiar with that. Every day we are going to work in that project location. How to deal with them, we will see. So from today, we are going to learn building of web pages, designing of web pages, how to deal with them, we will see. Initially, last session, I told you about versions, different types of HTML versions, how to work with them and deal with. And after understanding that, so we will start working with HTML now. So first, what you have to know about HTML. So already we know what is meant by hypertext markup language. What is HTML? These basic things we already learned. Technically, now we need to understand about the HTML page structure. How to design a HTML page? What is the basic HTML page structure? Right. So when you are learning designing of web pages, first you need to know about the structure of the web page. How do we deal with the web page? How do we configure with the web page? Right. Yeah. One important point is when you log in with only your registered IDs. Otherwise, you will be removed from the session. Simply, you can talk to the admin after I removed you from the sessions. Okay. If you don't log in with your registered IDs, I will remove from the session. So if you want to continue, then log in with only your registered ID. If I see any misusing of IDs and all, then I will just remove them. Right. Simply remove from the session permanently. Right. You log in into the sessions only with your registered ID. Our admin will be monitoring them, and I will not be removing. He will be removing you from the sessions, right? So please log in with your IDs only. Login IDs, what you registered, right? Registered. So otherwise you will be blocked. Okay, right. Every day you will be removed from the sessions until or unless you log in with the IDs. And all the classroom related notes and classroom related content. So classroom related note and contents, right? Classroom related note and content I will upload into Google Classroom, and that classroom ID I will give you. How to use the Google Classroom towards the end I will show you, right? And just you need to get the ID and you can get all the notes from there, right? Yeah, towards the end I will give you that. So let's start. And tomorrow onwards our session will exactly start by 9:05. So make sure that you are here by 9:05. By 9:05 exactly we will start the session, right? Yeah. So from tomorrow exactly by 9:05 we will start the session, right? Every day the same we will continue, right? So let's see how we can design and work with the HTML page. What is the basic page structure of HTML? Technically, the basic structure of HTML. Actually, to understand the HTML page structure, so you need to know about the entire architecture, how it actually works. What is HTML and how it works? That's important to understand first. Yesterday, I told you about HTML related basic points. HTML is a presentation language. Now, here you need to understand before going into the page structure what actually HTML comprises of. So that means the first question is, so what we have to learn in HTML. So that means first we need to understand. So what we have to learn in HTML. Learn in HTML. That is the first question comes for a learner actually. HTML is a presentation language. And what actually HTML comprises of? What we have to learn in HTML? Actually, for the point is you should know that technically, so HTML, so you need to know about HTML components. HTML components, language components. Actually, technically, HTML is a presentation language. HTML is a presentation language. So it is not a programming language. Difference between programming and HTML language is programming language handles interaction with the user. User can input, so it can process the input, it can generate the output according to the request and send it. It is not a programming language, it is a presentation language. And HTML presents information. HTML presents information by using set of elements. HTML presents information by using set of elements. Technically, it presents information by using a set of elements. So, generally, people who know about little bit HTML, but they don't know technically about HTML. When you ask what HTML contains, they immediately answer HTML contains tags. So that is not right about HTML definition. Technically, HTML is one second. So you people always log in with your registered names, right? You log in with your registered names. If you don't log in with your registered names, you will be removed from the session. I keep on saying that you log in with your registered names. Our admin will be removing you from the sessions if you are not logging into it. Okay. So log in. So with your registered names only, right? Okay. So fine. So here the first point is HTML is a presentation language and HTML presents information by using a set of elements. Now, if anyone asks what we have to learn in HTML, then technically you should say we have to learn about the elements of HTML. Actually, elements are used for presenting different types of content on a browser. So it is on a browser. It is used to present on a browser. Elements are used for presenting different types of content on a browser. So, and very important is elements are arranged in a hierarchy called arranged in a hierarchy called DOM, document object model. Elements are arranged in a hierarchy called DOM, document object model. This is very important. People who are learning with HTML, they should first know about DOM. So DOM is document object model. DOM is document object model. So DOM is document object model. Technically, DOM is document object model. Right. DOM is document object model. So what is this DOM? How this DOM works? We will see that. What is the DOM? How the DOM works? We will see technically. So HTML is going to present everything by using a set of elements. Elements are arranged in an order. Hierarchy means, actually, hierarchy means it is a combination of parent-child elements. It's a combination of parent-child elements. The parent elements and child elements. That means level by level order. And that is what generally we call as DOM. We are going to learn more about this day by day. Every day we are going to discuss. HTML technically presents DOM. HTML presents DOM. HTML presents the DOM, document object model. Actually, so it loads the DOM into browser. It loads the DOM into browser, document object model into browser. I will show you. Actually, in the beginning days, we will not learn everything about DOM. We will start learning. So, but how HTML presents everything, we need to understand that hierarchy. So, yeah, about the hierarchy, technically. How it is going to handle the hierarchy is very simple. How it is going to handle the hierarchy. See, actually, suppose we have a browser. Generally, we have a browser. So, technically, we have a browser. So, this is browser. This is the browser. Browser like Chrome, Firefox, some Internet Explorer, some browsers. Now, in this browser, so technically, in this browser, usually what happens in the browser is, usually in this browser, we are loading the page. In the browser, we are loading the page. That means we have a HTML page which is loaded into browser. We have an HTML page loaded into browser. How HTML page loads into browser? Technically, how it loads into browser? That means actually HTML page. So HTML page. So it comprises of elements. Elements like images, like links, like forms, etc. So many will be there in HTML page. Images, links, forms, all this comes under the elements. Now, important is every browser actually is having a translator. Every browser is having a parser. Every browser is having a parser. Actually, parser is nothing but technically parser is a translator. So that means parser is a translator. That means you can say that interpreter like. I will tell you about interpreters and all in the next levels. We have a parser. Parser is a translator. Now, whatever you write in HTML, technically whatever you write in HTML, this is first sent to the parser. It is sent to the parser. Parser will read these elements, convert those elements into the understandable convert those elements into understandable of browser. Understandable of browser. It will convert into understandable of browser and present on the browser. That means these elements are arranged in a hierarchy called, as I told you, DOM. It is arranged in a hierarchy called DOM, Document Object Model. And this DOM is loaded into browser. So DOM is loaded into browser. Document Object Model. The DOM is loaded into browser. How it arranges the elements, how it works with the elements, we are going to learn that. So technically, it is going to handle the DOM hierarchy. It is going to handle the DOM hierarchy. So how it happens, you can see that. First, see. In our project, I am adding a new HTML. I am adding a new file. In the project, select this new file button and give a name, some index.html. Okay. Currently in index.html, I haven't given anything. By default, every page contains a default DOM structure actually. So when you add the elements, they are arranged in a DOM hierarchy that you are going to learn step by step. Now there is nothing inside this page. It is empty actually. Let's run this and see now. Empty page. Run this and see. Right click, open with the live server. It is an empty page. We are starting with that. Okay. Now you can see an empty page is ready. You right click and select inspect. When you select inspect, a debugger will come. In the debugger, you can observe it shows these elements. There is a category called elements. Elements. In the elements, it is having HTML, head, body, all these as elements. That means HTML is not a collection of tags. Don't ever say HTML is collection of tags. HTML is collection of elements. That is technical. Then what is a tag? I will tell you. HTML means it is a collection of elements. Elements are having a hierarchical order. They are arranged in that order only. And they are accessed in that order. Remember, I haven't given anything in my logic, but automatically the browser prepares an order for it. It has a HTML head, body, like there is an hierarchy for it. It prepares an order for this. This is called DOM, Document Object Model. You can observe more better here. You can see what you can do is, in this debugger, this is browser debugger. Every browser have a debugger. In this debugger, you need to go to, technically you need to go to the categories. In the categories, there is a category called network. Go to network category in the debugger. In the network category, what you do is here, simply, so once refresh this page, in the network category, go to network category and refresh this page. When I refresh the page, you can see that it shows some information like the request is coming for index.html. It is coming for index.html. And it is displaying that information about index.html. Its status is 304. Its type is document. And some other details, how much time, how much space it is occupying. Some other details are there. What is those status codes, numbers, everything you are going to learn. No need to hurry into questions. Now immediately no need to ask what is 304. You are going to learn. That is why you are here. So just observe the point here. Index.html is loaded. And when index.html is loaded, carefully see at the bottom, you will find some status message. 2 requests happened and 542 bytes transferred, 0 bytes for resources, finished 23 milliseconds, it taken 23 milliseconds, and DOM content loaded. This is important. You can see the term DOM content loaded. That means your document contents are loaded. DOM is document object model. DOM content is loaded and it is ready. That means you can start working with it. So HTML is a collection of elements, and these elements are present in a hierarchy called DOM. That is what we call DOM content loaded. So and how this hierarchy looks like and what it is, you are going to learn in later stages, because it is too early to learn about DOM. First, you should only know that HTML presents in a hierarchy called DOM. Actually, you can see, so this is the DOM hierarchy. I will give you the DOM diagram. So later we are going to learn this detailedly one by one. And this is the DOM actually. This is the DOM architecture. This is the technical DOM architecture. This is the DOM architecture actually. So this is the DOM architecture. This is what you are going to learn in HTML, JavaScript, jQuery. You are going to deal with this. So you will get perfection on every point here. But see the parent. In the parent, so we have a window. Window refers to browser window. And browser window has some location, history, navigator. And it is having a document. This document refers to HTML. That means this document actually refers to HTML. This refers to HTML document. And this HTML document contains a hierarchy, architecture. It contains a hierarchy of contents and elements. It contains a hierarchy. This hierarchy is called as DOM. We call this as DOM. So outside that DOM, you have another hierarchy that is called BOM, Browser Object Model. That means here we have two options to handle actually. One is the DOM, another one is BOM, Document Object Model and Browser Object Model. These are the two things which we need to understand. And that is how actually everything works also. That means this entire outside is called BOM, Browser Object Model. And internally this is called DOM, Document Object Model. Currently you are going to learn this DOM. Later you will learn about BOM. In JavaScript and all, you will learn about that. So initially, HTML is a collection of elements. You don't need to understand what is document, what is forms, what is elements. Later you will learn about that. This is the basic DOM architecture. And the DOM architecture looks like this. This is the basic DOM architecture. It looks in this way. This is the architecture. I will give you all this in the note. And from today onwards, already I uploaded actually. From today onwards, how to access our notes, what you have to do is, so to access our notes, you open Google Classroom. You open Google Classroom. So you can open Google Classroom. So Google Classroom, right? Classroom. Yeah. This is the Google Classroom. And in that you log in with your Google account. Actually, this is my Google Classroom. This is your Google Classroom will appear like this. This is Google Classroom. Now what you have to do is, so right side in this Google Classroom, right side in the Google Classroom, you will find an option So here join class. You log in into Google Classroom with your Google ID. There will be join class and it will ask class code, which class to join. What you have to do is I created a class for you, and when it asks for class code, you have to give this class code. So you have to give this class code. So I will post that class code to all of you. So this is the Google class code. So that is the class code. Everyone got that right? Google class code, right? That is the Google class code. That is the Google class load. Everyone got it, right? Yeah, this is the Google class code. This is the Google class code. And you can join into that Google class code. So, and once you join into this, then you will find classwork. In the classwork, everyday topics I will upload. And you click on the topic and you can view the material. That means the documents. You can browse those documents. You cannot download these documents. You can copy them into your Google Drive and use them. You can copy into your Google Drive. They are not for download. You can copy into Google Drive. From Google Drive, you can access them, right? You can use them, right? This is the documentation for you, right? So for every day, I will be providing you the note step by step, and everything will be in this classroom, So you have to attend this, right? You have to join into this, okay? Right. Hope everyone is clear. Everyone is clear, right? Where you will get the notes from hereafter every day, right? Right. Right. So you can continue here now from hereafter every day. So the notes will be here, okay? Right. Fine. Now, this entire document also I will upload there today. So I will upload the document there, right? So what we are learning. So fine. What you learned now is 2 points you learned here. One is, what is a DOM? So technically, HTML presents information in a hierarchy of elements. So HTML is a collection of elements, and elements are presented so in a hierarchy called DOM. That is called document object model. Document object model. How this DOM works, you are going to learn step by step. So no need to worry about that. But you should know that HTML means collection of elements. And important here, very important is HTML elements are technically HTML elements are classified. HTML elements are classified into following groups. HTML elements are classified into following groups. So what is HTML? HTML is a collection of elements. So that means you are learning HTML means you are learning about elements. Then what is DOM? DOM is an order of elements. Elements are presented in order called DOM. Okay, that means in HTML we have to learn about elements. And HTML elements are actually classified into several groups. What are those groups? HTML elements are classified into, we have normal elements, we have void elements, we have RC data elements, we have raw text elements, we have foreign elements. So learning HTML is all about learning these elements. People who just know HTML from here and there little bit, For them, HTML is collection of tags. They even tell that as a definition for HTML. But technically, HTML is collection of elements which are classified into 4 groups. We have normal elements, void elements, RC data elements, raw text elements, and foreign elements. What is difference between these elements? Actually, here important. Elements are presented by using tags. Elements are presented by using tags. HTML presents information by using elements. Elements are presented by using tags. That means tags will present an element will present a presentation. So that means tags, you can simply say that tags are used to build an element. Tags are used to build an element. That means finally a browser can understand. A browser can understand and use only elements, not tags actually. Whatever the tags you written, they are converted into elements. Through the elements it is presented actually. That is the reason in the browser debugger, you will never find, suppose I opened my previous page. I opened this index.html page. When you open this index.html page and inspect, right click and inspect, and in that you will never find any option talking about tag. That means there will be no option in the browser where it says it talks about tag. There is no tag at all. That means there is no concept of tag for a browser. Browser can understand only one thing, that is elements. There is nothing like a tag actually. Means for browser. Then what is a tag in HTML? That means elements are presented by using tags. So tags are used to build element. So finally, a browser can understand and use only elements. So use elements. For example, I will tell you a simple example, like actually image is an element. Image is an element presented by using the tag img. Img is the tag. Similarly, bold is an element presented by using the tag b. That means HTML understands as a element, but it is designed by using a tag. So that means anchor is an element presented by using the tag a. Anchor is an element presented by using the tag a. That is what actually the point. Technically, that is the key point here. So that means in HTML, so it is all about the collection of elements. And to build elements, now many times in interviews, question is asked like, can I build an element without a tag? Of course, without a tag, you can design an element and you can use it. Without a tag also, you can build an element and you can present it. For example, roughly, I will show you. That means without an option, right? Without any element. So for example, roughly, suppose here I want to create. Don't worry about what I am writing, code. Just observe the concept. I am writing some script. And the script have a function. So later you are going to learn all this, don't worry. So where p is equal to, so document dot create element. So we are creating an element called paragraph. We are creating a paragraph element. And paragraph is having some inner HTML as, so this is a paragraph, something we defined that. And we are adding that into some location. Suppose I have a div, so some body or some div, so something like this I define. Don't worry about my coding and all, just observe the concept here. Actually, now, so we have an ID as container, okay. And here we are adding, so document dot get element by ID. So that is container dot append child and append child and this p. Okay. Now here we are calling that function here. So calling the function here, or we can call the function on body load. So body on load. So we are calling the function. Okay. And inside the body we have this. Actually, don't worry about all my coding. That is the secondary part, you will learn it. So there is a body section. In the body section, there is a div. In the div, I want a paragraph. And generally, paragraph is designed by using the tag called P, by using the tag called P, right? Now I am running this here. So I want to run this, and you can see it shows this is a paragraph. And actually I haven't written any tag for paragraph, but you can see in the div there is a paragraph tag. P is a paragraph tag. That means HTML is a collection of elements, and everything is presented through the elements. Tags are used for building those elements. Without a tag, can you add an element? Of course, we can add. Without writing a tag, we can add the elements. So that means HTML is not collection of tags. HTML is collection of elements. Here, I am not writing a paragraph tag, but I am presenting a paragraph element. That means elements are presented without the tags also. Without the tags also, elements are presented. Finally, it presents it. And remember, browser will not call it as p tag. Browser will call it as an element only. It is under the category of elements. It calls it as an element only. So technically, so what is relation between tag and element? How you need to understand about that? First thing, so HTML means it is collection of elements. And elements are built by using tags. Without the tags also, you can build the elements and you can present the elements. But that we do generally dynamically. So statically, if you want the options, then you have to, statically, if you want to configure, you need to define that, right? So I already told you, right? You don't need to worry about what is the code I am writing. You understood the concept, just forget other, okay? What is a script tag? Why you write script tag? What is get element by ID? That is what I said. You don't need to worry about all these. Just understood the concept, huh? Mr. Yash Gupta and Ajay, right? That is what I am talking about. You are not yet ready to understand script tag and all this nonsense, right? You don't need that at all. You are at very beginning level. Just you need to understand the concept. That is what I am explaining, right? I already told you that when we discussed it, right? That don't concentrate on what the code I am writing, just concentrate on the concept, okay? I hope you are clear very much, right? So hereafter, you don't need to worry about the code until or unless I explain about the code, okay? You just need to understand the concept what we are discussing, right? So technically, what we discussed here is not about script tag, not about get element by ID. So other than that, what we discussed is what is HTML and how HTML presents information. So HTML presents information by using elements. So elements are built by using tags, and elements are arranged in a hierarchy called DOM. document object model. These 3 points, everyone understood? Everyone understood these 3 points? Right? Right. That is only the concept you need to concentrate at this level, right? So that means HTML is not collection of tags. HTML is collection of elements. That is the point, right? Right. Now, the elements in HTML are classified into several types. So we have 5 different types of elements: normal elements, void elements, RC data. I will explain one point about them, and so what are those groups? Let's take a simple tabular form to understand. So element type, and description. So what are the elements and the description? Just take a look about that. That means element type and description. Technically, so what are the elements we have? What is the purpose of these elements? So how do we deal with these elements, right? Technically, how we can configure and deal with these elements, right? Actually, element, what is an element? So element types we have. So normal elements. Normal element. What is a normal element actually? So it is an HTML element. It is an HTML element that directly returns a presentation on callback. Callback means nothing but returning something when it is used. When I use it, it is returning something. Then we call this mechanism as callback. That means I called it, and that means automatically it should do something. So that is what actually callback mechanism. You will detailedly learn in programming. As of now, normal element is an HTML element that directly returns a presentation on callback. That means by default, it have a presentation. By default, it have some presentation, and it returns the presentation directly. Returns a presentation directly. So that is called normal element. And very important is actually a normal element. Technically, another point you should know is normal element is returning some presentation. It starts returning a presentation. It starts returning a presentation and will never stop. So it will never stop up until the end of document. Until the end of document, it will never stop. It will continue. It starts returning the presentation and will never stop until the end of document. You have to explicitly stop the presentation. Explicitly stop the presentation. Externally, you have to stop the presentation. I will show you that practically. That means normal element is an element which directly returns a presentation on callback. And it starts returning a presentation and will never stop until the end of document. You have to explicitly stop the presentation. So that is the reason. Hence, so normal elements are built by using a start and end tags. It is built by using a start and end tag. Usually start and end tag, that means this is the tag start and this is the tag end. That means these elements are built. I already told you elements are built by using tag. These elements are built by using a start and end tag. This is the start tag and this is the end tag. End tag will have the same name with a slash. Tag is defined in an angle brace. Tag is defined in an angle brace. Right, in an angle bracket tag, and the same tag name precedes with a slash, which indicates that it is end tag. So normal elements, so normal element requires an end tag. So it is mandatory that a normal element requires an end tag. Actually, people who are learning HTML, they are very much confused about start tag, end tag, when to use, when not to use. It will be very clear if you can understand this concept perfectly. That means, first thing, what is a normal element? Normal element is an element which directly presents something without any additional attributes. That means it directly returns a presentation on callback without using any additional attributes. Without using any additional attributes, it directly returns a presentation. Then it is called as a normal element. And very important, it starts the presentation, but it will never stop. For example, I will show you. In this, I am writing, so welcome to HTML. So that means HTML, welcome to HTML. So it is a markup language. It is a markup language like this. Now I want to highlight this HTML and I am writing B. So B is a normal element. Normal element. Now how you say it is a normal element? Observe here, in the B tag, am I using any additional attributes? Am I using any additional attributes in the B tag? I am not using any additional attributes. Okay. And is there any end defined for this? Is there any end defined for this? There is no end defined for this. There is no end defined for this. So normal element should able to present something. It should able to present something without using not options, right? Let's see that, right? Once. Yeah. So now technically here we are defining this HTML element, and observe carefully, there is no end for this. And once you see here in the output, when I run this, right click and open with the server, you can see that. So the bold is continuing. Am I right? Everyone understood that? That means bold is continuing. Right? The bold is continuing. That means it is not having an end. Right? Bold is continuing. It is not having an end. We have to manually end it. That means it requires a /B. Manually end it. Explicitly end tag is required for that. Then it will stop the bold. So you can see it stops the bold after HTML. Otherwise it will continue up to the end of the document. So this is, so now tell me in HTML, when you need an end tag, In HTML, when you need an end tag, tell me when you need an end tag. So that means now you cannot simply say that we need an end tag for normal elements. You cannot say that we need an end tag for normal elements. Several other elements also requires an end tag. Then how you will tell that this element needs an end tag? How you will say that this element needs an end tag? Anything you can answer about that? How you can say that this element needs an end tag? So that means the question is how you say that it needs an end tag. So you can say that you need an end tag if any element is continuing its presentation. Am I right? You can say that you need an end tag if an element is continuing its presentation. Right? When an element is continuing its presentation. If an element is continuing its presentation, then you have to end it. You have to end it. Then you need an end tag. If an element is not continuing the presentation, you don't need an end tag. If an element is continuing its presentation, then you need an end tag. You need an end tag. So that is the important actually. Now tell me, what is a normal element? What you understood about a normal element? What is a normal element? What is a normal element? What is meant by normal element? What is a normal element? That means a normal element doesn't require any additional attributes for presentation. It can directly present information. Am I right? It can directly present a presentation. A normal element can present directly without any additional attributes. So when you call any element as normal element, when it is able to present directly something, then we call as a normal element. Normal element. Now, very important here. So observe carefully. In this, I am writing. In this, I am writing. I removed it. It is currently empty. So I am writing that and it is currently empty. That means it is currently empty. So this is currently empty. Now here I am writing IMG. IMG. That means I am writing IMG. So is it returning anything? Is it returning any presentation? Is not returning any presentation. Is it returning any presentation? Same like bold, I written it, but it is not returning any presentation. And in computer terminology, if it is not returning anything, then we call this as void. Understood? Void element. Understood? Void means no return type. Void means nothing to return. There is nothing to return by default. Void element means, technically void is a computer terminology. Void means, void refers to a component, Voice refers to a component that will not return any presentation directly on callback. It will not return any presentation directly on callback. Actually, it will not return any presentation directly on callback. It will not return any presentation directly on callback. That means what we need is, it requires additional attributes for presentation. It requires additional attributes for presentation. And very important is, it presents information. It presents information and stops implicitly. implicitly. That means after presenting, it stops automatically. Because by default, it is not presenting anything. You have to tell what to present. You have to tell what to present. That means now here I am telling what to present by using an attribute called some src is equal to some pic.jpg something. But I don't have that. Temporarily I am giving some ref value empty. That means now we are telling what to present. We are telling what to present. Now, when you tell what to present, it will present this and it will stop. It will present it and it will stop. It will not continue. It will not continue. Now tell me, do we need an end tag here? Do we need an end tag here? We don't need an end tag here. Why we don't need an end tag here? Because it implicitly ends. Am I right? We don't need an end tag here. Why? Because it implicitly ends. Why? Because it implicitly ends. Internally, it ends after the presentation. So that means these type of elements which are unable to present anything, and they can present only when you ask it to present something, and after presenting they will stop. They don't need an end tag. They don't need an end tag. That means they will present only that content. Actually, there is no picture. You can see blank picture can. If it is continuing the presentation, then this picture should continue up to the end of page. But it is not continuing up to end of page. It is keeping only one. It is keeping it only one. In that case, technically, we call this as void elements. So void element, it presents information and stops implicitly. So it doesn't require an end tag. It doesn't require an end tag. Now tell me, for which element we don't need an end tag? For which element you don't need an end tag? For which element we don't need an end tag? So for which element we don't need an end tag? So that means the void elements doesn't require an end tag. Understood? Void elements usually doesn't require an end tag. Why they doesn't require an end tag? Because they cannot directly return anything. That means you can simply say that any element which is implicitly ending, it doesn't require an end tag. Am I right? Any element that is implicitly ending, they doesn't require an end tag. This doesn't require an end tag. That is void element. So example for normal element is sum, just like I given bold, that is normal element. And example for this void element is like just img. Later you are going to learn hundreds of them, right? One by one we are going to learn. Just we are learning why an element requires a start tag and an end tag. Why an element doesn't require a start tag and end tag. These are the things we need to first learn. So we have normal elements and void elements. Another important, we have raw text elements. Raw text element. Actually, raw text element, it is an HTML element presented by using raw text instead of tag. That is the reason you cannot say that HTML presents by using tag, because so many things you can present without a tag. For example, what is a raw text element? That means it is an element presented by using raw text instead of a tag actually. What do you mean by raw text? For example, here I am typing. So as copyright 2020. And here I am writing. So copy semicolon. You can see that it is general text actually. You can see that is general text. So it is general text. That means it is a simple text. Copy semicolon copyright 2020. It is a general text actually. Technically, it is general text actually. Now see what I am doing here. So before that copy, I am using an ampersand. And is it a tag? Is it a tag? Is it a tag? It is not a tag. It is just raw text. Am I right? It is just raw text. Right? It is just raw text. And observe carefully. This raw text is able to present some symbol. Understood? That means this raw text is able to present some symbol. That means suppose here I am writing. So that means I am writing here. So I am writing here. You don't need to worry how and why, because that is all compiler will take care about that. You don't need to postmortem that. Okay. Your level, this is enough. Right. So here the point is now it is using, suppose I am using 8377 #8377 semicolon. I am writing this, and this is raw text. This is raw text. You can see this is raw text. And I am adding a raw text, and I am adding @. So @ for this raw text. And you can see that it is transformed and it is presented with a currency symbol. That means several things we can present in HTML by using some raw text, not by using the tags. And that is what we call as raw text elements. I hope everyone understood. That means raw text elements are the elements. So it is an element presented by using raw text instead of using a tag. And example for that raw text elements, ampersand, copy. So like ampersand #8377 semicolon, like this. These are all raw text elements. Technically, we have normal elements, we have void elements, we have raw text elements. And do we need a tag for raw text element? Raw text element doesn't require any tag. They are presented by using plain text, right? That is raw text element. Another important is RC data element. RC data element is rich text content element. So element, it is rich text content element. It can present only plain text without any formats. That is what actually raw text. That means it is a container for raw text. So it is a rich text actually. It is a container for rich text. That means, what does that means? Actually, raw text, rich text element means what? RC data element means what? RC data element is nothing but, here suppose we are having suppose a paragraph. In the paragraph, I said bold. So welcome to HTML. That means here, so there is a element. Inside that element, I am adding another element. That means it is having, so hello is normal text and bold. That means now I am using an element inside another element. So, and I am presenting the text. Now, paragraph is an element, and this is not, paragraph is not, it is not a RC data element. If it is not RC data element, it allows to present several formats inside it. You can even present an image inside it. You can present so many things inside it. Now you observe here. So observe here, you can see that it is able to present that. And I can present that source, subpic.jpg, something like this. That means it is able to present all of them. But this paragraph is an element which will allow. But some elements can present only text. They cannot present anything other than text. Such elements so are called as RC data element. For example, I have text area. Text area is an element which can present text, but only text. It cannot present formats for text. So you cannot use any another element inside it. Even if you try to use any another element inside it, it will convert into plain text. You can see it converts into plain text. It converts into plain text. You cannot present the formats that you are looking for. It converts into plain text. It is only for text, plain text elements. Such elements are called as RC data elements. And example for that RC data element, is text area. Example is text area. So many things will come. You are going to learn about them. This is one example, text area. This is text area. This is an RC data element. RC data elements. So we have normal element, void element, raw text element, RC data element. We have foreign element. Technically, foreign element is nothing but it is an element. So which can be used in HTML. So but requires some additional library. That means it is not native to HTML. Several elements in HTML, sometimes we use them, but they can't directly work. They need some extra library. By adding that library only, you can use that element. So we have such type of elements in HTML, which will not directly work in HTML. But they can be integrated into HTML by using some additional libraries that you will see later. Example for them, we have example for them as Canvas. So we have like SVG, we have like MathML. This all comes under foreign elements. They are HTML only, but they don't work directly. For using them, you need some additional library to import and use them. And in every browser, they will not work in the same way. That's the reason we have compatibility issues also. So we need some additional library to import and use them. So what code I am writing, you don't need to worry about that. That is what you are going to learn. You need to just understand what are the various types of elements we have. And we are going to learn these all types of elements one by one. So HTML means not tags. HTML means elements. And how many types of elements are there in HTML? 5. Normal elements, void elements, RC data elements, and foreign elements. These are the different types of elements. And how to deal with these types of elements and how do we work with these type of elements? We are going to understand about that. We are going to learn about that. So, and step by step, how to design by using all these elements that we will see in our next session. Tomorrow we will continue with that, okay? And tomorrow our session will exactly start at 9:05. And today onwards, our class related notes will be uploaded into the Google Classroom. You subscribe to that Google Classroom, right? Don't misuse that Google Classroom by posting some unnecessary comments. Immediately you will be removed from that classroom, okay? Just we should talk about only the concept, what we are learning in this course, right? Nothing additionally, anything inside that classroom. If any comment found, I simply remove them from the sessions. I don't care about that, right? I will simply remove from the sessions. You can talk to the admin and go to other batches, right? So very strictly we follow only learning here, right? No extra activities, and practicing and everything we will do step by step. I will give the tasks. So you understood what are the different types of elements today. Now we need to go to practically start working with this now. That means what is the structure, how to design with them, right? These are all the basics required to start working with HTML. So tomorrow we will see HTML page structure, how to work with it, okay? Right. Tomorrow we'll continue with that. Yeah, Google Classroom, how to use, I already explained, right? So, and the Google Classroom link I given, and you can get the Google Classroom link from our admin also. Okay, I already posted. You can get it from our admin also. So ping the admin, he will send the Google Classroom link. Okay. Okay then. Let's continue tomorrow. Hope you are clear with that. So you continue. Let's continue tomorrow. Right? Yeah.
कहते हैं कि जिस घर में बहू और दोनों ही खिलाता है उसी घर में फिर लक्ष्मी आती है। दोनों ऐसा भी नहीं बेटी को पूछ करके बहू को नौकरी करोगे तो फिर लक्ष्मी आ जाएगी, नहीं, या बहू को पूछ करके बेटी को नौकरी तो नहीं आएगी। जो बच्चे उस समय बिगड़ जाते हैं ना, जब तक धोती पहनते हैं तब तक नहीं सुधरते। इसीलिए कहते हैं बचपन में संस्कार डालो, संस्कार डालो। हम कहते अभी तो बच्चा है, अभी तो बच्चा है, फिर वैसा बच्चा निकलता है। बचपन में सिखाओ। प्रेम अपनी जगह, सही गलत अपनी जगह, सही गलत के बीच फर्क बताओ उसे, क्योंकि वो उस उम्र में ही आपकी बात मान।
आपका सबसे बड़ा सवाल आप सबसे ये है, क्या आप बिल्किस बानो को जानते हैं? वही बिल्किस बानो जो दिल्ली में शाहीन बाग में धरने पर बैठी थी, जिन्होंने मुस्लिम महिलाओं को शाहीन बाग में धरने के लिए इकट्ठा किया, बच्चों को वहां पर इकट्ठा किया और बाद में ये पता चला था कि इसी शाहीन बाग में दिल्ली के दंगों का षड्यंत्र भी रचा गया, वही बिल्किस बानो। लेकिन आपने उनका नाम नहीं सुना होगा, अमेरिका की टाइम मैगजीन ने उनका नाम सुना, क्योंकि अमेरिका की टाइम मैगजीन ने आज दुनिया के 100 सबसे प्रभावशाली लोगों की लिस्ट प्रकाशित की और इसमें भारत के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का नाम है। आपको कोई हैरानी नहीं होगी, क्योंकि वो वाकई दुनिया के सबसे प्रभावशाली लोगों की लिस्ट में उनका नाम होना चाहिए और वो है भी। लेकिन इसमें एक और हैरानी है, और वो हैरानी इसलिए है कि इसमें शाहीन बाग में गैर कानूनी धरने पर बैठने वाली बिल्किस बानो का नाम भी शामिल किया। टाइम मैगजीन ने बिल्किस बानो का नाम क्यों शामिल किया, इससे ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण ये जानना है कि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का नाम क्यों लिखा गया। टाइम मैगजीन के संपादक पाल मिल्क ने प्रधानमंत्री मोदी के बारे में इस लेख में क्या लिखा है, पहले आप ये सुनिए। उन्होंने लिखा है, लोकतंत्र के लिए निष्पक्ष चुनाव होना ही काफी नहीं, क्योंकि इससे सिर्फ ये पता चलता है कि किसे अधिक वोट मिले। भारत की 130 करोड़ लोगों की आबादी में ईसाई, मुसलमान, सिख और जैन धर्म के लोग भी रहते हैं। भारत की 80% जनसंख्या हिंदुओं की है और अब तक के अधिकतर प्रधानमंत्री इसी धर्म के मानने वाले रहे हैं। नरेंद्र मोदी ऐसे शासन कर रहे हैं जैसे और कोई उनके लिए मायने ही नहीं रखता। मुस्लिम समुदाय नरेंद्र मोदी की हिंदू राष्ट्रवादी पार्टी बीजेपी के निशाने पर लगा है। ये लिखा है टाइम मैगजीन ने भारत के चुने हुए प्रधानमंत्री के बारे में। और ये चुने हुए प्रधानमंत्री, इस मामले में आपको कह रहा हूँ कि अब जो चल रही है कोई गठबंधन की सरकार नहीं है, इधर उधर से समर्थन लेकर चल रही सरकार नहीं है, पूर्ण बहुमत लेकर बनाई गई सरकार है। टाइम मैगजीन का ये लेख पश्चिमी मीडिया में भारत की लेने का एक और बहुत बड़ा सबूत है। ये क्या हो रहा है भगवान? कौन है इस जवाहर करो जी? ये कोई ब्राह्मण भाषा है जो अपने आप को द्वारकाधीश का मित्र बताते हैं। When I thought of being thrown into an alligator pit, I salivated and breathed up. Hands like it's gonna die, homie, open, pray I'm a whale till you dislocate or rotate across camera. Camera from feathers, now he comes out and afraid of my flash. So say you. When I thought of being ना, एक दो दूरी कितनी क्या? पाकिस्तान में महादेव के मंदिर को बंद कराया, फिर जो हुआ। दोस्तों, आज हम पाकिस्तान में हुए महादेव के चमत्कार के बारे में बताएंगे। पूरा पाकिस्तान डर गया जब पाकिस्तान के कुछ कट्टरपंथी लोगों ने महादेव का मंदिर जबरन बंद करवाया। फिर आखिर उस रात को क्या हुआ था, ये पूरा चमत्कार और घटना को देखने के लिए वीडियो को अंत तक जरूर देखें। आज की ये घटना है पाकिस्तान के सिंध प्रांत की। सिंध प्रांत के एक छोटे से गांव में भोलेनाथ का पुराना मंदिर हुआ करता था। सिंध में रहने वाले हिंदू परिवार के लोग अक्सर भोलेनाथ की पूजा करने जाते थे। ये मंदिर गांव के खेतों में था। वहां के मंदिर का मौसम बहुत ही बढ़िया हुआ करता था और वहां जाकर सबको शांति मिलती थी। इस महादेव मंदिर के आसपास कुछ कट्टरपंथी लोगों के खेत भी थे और इसी वजह से इन्हीं कट्टरपंथी लोगों को मंदिर पर आने वाले सभी लोगों से बहुत ही जलन हुआ करती थी। वहां के 10-15 कट्टरपंथी लोग मिलकर इस मंदिर को तोड़ने का षड्यंत्र भी रच रहे थे, पर उनमें इतनी हिम्मत नहीं थी कि वो उस महादेव मंदिर का बाल विवाह कर सके। अब ये कट्टरपंथी लोग मंदिर में आने वाले हर व्यक्ति को परेशान करने लगे और मंदिर न आने की धमकी देने लगे। उन लोगों ने तो रात को मंदिर की बिजली के तार तक भी काट दिए ताकि वहां पूजा न हो सके। और तो और वहां के पुजारी को भी भोलेनाथ के मंदिर में न आने की धमकी देने लगे। इन लोगों की अब हरकतें बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ चुकी थी। इसी कारण मंदिर के पुजारी ने डर के मारे अब मंदिर में पूजा करना भी छोड़ दिया था। डर के मारे अब लोग भी मंदिर में नहीं आते थे। वहां के कट्टरपंथी खेतों के लोग अब बहुत ज्यादा खुश होने लगे। अब मंदिर काफी समय से बंद रहने लगा। अब भोलेनाथ का सबसे पवित्र महीना सावन मास भी नजदीक था। हर साल इस मंदिर में सावन महीने में बहुत ही बड़ी पूजा की जाती थी। हिंदू परिवार के लोग बहुत ही दुखी थे क्योंकि अब मंदिर तो बंद पड़ा था और इस साल वे अब भोलेनाथ की पूजा नहीं कर सकते थे। मंदिर के पुजारियों ने भी बहुत दुख जताया, लेकिन अब वे कर भी क्या सकते थे। सावन महीने का पहला दिन था और वहां के खेतों के कट्टरपंथी लोग रात के वक्त पहरा दे रहे थे ताकि हिंदू वहां आकर पूजा न कर पाए। वे सभी लोग बहुत ही खुश थे क्योंकि इस सावन के महीने में महादेव का मंदिर बंद था और पूजा नहीं की जा सकती थी। रात के करीब 12 बजे होंगे और ये लोग आपस में बातें कर रहे थे। तभी अचानक से मंदिर के अंदर से शब्द की आवाजें आने लगी। ये सब लोग शब्द की आवाज सुनकर हैरान रह गए क्योंकि मंदिर तो बंद था। फिर ये लोग मंदिर के पास जाकर खिड़की में से झांकने लगे। अंदर का नजारा देखकर सबकी आंखें फटी की फटी रह गई। उन्होंने देखा मंदिर के अंदर सांप महादेव की पूजा करते हुए दिखाई दिए और एक सांप तो शिवलिंग से लिपटा हुआ भी दिखाई दिया। मंदिर के अंदर से दूध की धारा भी दिखाई दी। ये लोग आश्चर्य में पड़ गए कि मंदिर तो बंद है। थोड़ी ही देर में अब मंदिर का घंटा भी जोर जोर से बजने लगता है। सुबह होते ही वे सभी खेतों के लोग मंदिर के पुजारी के पास दौड़े चले गए और रात को मंदिर में उन्होंने जो देखा वो सब पुजारी को बताया। और अब तो वे सभी लोग अपने खेत में भी जाने से डरते हैं। उन्होंने पुजारी से कहा कि आप जल्दी से महादेव का मंदिर खोल दो और पूजा अर्चना शुरू कर दो। कुछ लोग कहने लगे कि हम भी महादेव की पूजा में शामिल होंगे ताकि भोलेनाथ हमें माफ कर दें। दोबारा ऐसी गलती वे कभी नहीं करेंगे। फिर हिंदू परिवार के लोग और पुजारी भोलेनाथ के मंदिर में जाकर महादेव की पूजा करने लगे। सब लोग भोलेनाथ के दर्शन करके बहुत ही प्रसन्न हो गए और अब वे कट्टरपंथी लोग भी सुधर गए। तो दोस्तों, देखा आपने कैसे वे कट्टरपंथी लोग महादेव के
हाँ, मैं दोबारा इस बात को दोहराना चाहूंगी क्योंकि जब शशांक
proceed, guys.
हाँ जाओ 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 बोलो সেই তো চারটা নড়িয়া চলছে ওটা স্টুডিও দেখলাম সাইকেল লোক তো না কাল দিও তো মানুষ বলতে ঘর সবার নাম্বার হ্যাঁ ସବୁ ମାପ ମାନେ ନେଇକି ପଡିବ ବାପା କହିଲେ ସେ ଯୋଉ
कलर बोल रहा है
तो येलो कोई कलर पर
आगे आगे काचा कलर
तो ग्रीन
ये बाहर लो नीला बाहर
तो बाहर वाला कौन दिखाओ तो कलर कलर दिखाओ
ना ये ना बाहर तो बाहर चल बढ़िया
हां हमारे रूम लगे हुए
मेरा मतलब
हां
500 दिन में बड़ा
पांच ही
कितना तारीख 24 ना
हां
30 तारीख निकल गई
रूम हां हां 9 चार तो